Picture this, 117 hand-assembled drones the size of carry-on luggage, hidden inside ordinary shipping crates scattered across Russia. At 3:17 a.m. Moscow time last Tuesday, they all came alive at once, diving onto 5 bomber bases and shredding a third of the Kremlin's long-range strike fleet in a single morning. The Ukrainians call it Operation Spiderweb. The $7 billion hole it blew in Russia's arsenal may go down as the moment 21st century warfare became crowd-sourced. For months the war had been grinding, with Russia inching west around Avdiivka while Kyiv rationed artillery shells. International attention drifted. Spiderweb snapped it back. In one night, low-cost FPV drones, guided by onboard AI, crippled 295 Bear and two 160 Blackjack bombers, plus an A-50 AWACS hundreds of kilometers from the front. The message was brutal. Weapons that cost a few $1,000s tore through aircraft worth hundreds of millions. The strike left the Russian Air Force facing its worst single-day loss since World War II. Inside the Kremlin, the General Staff reportedly ordered submarine-based nuclear forces to higher alert. Russian telegram channels screamed for retaliation, but Moscow has only 2 realistic responses: disperse what's left, slashing sortie capacity, or escalate in cyberspace or sabotage. Almost as dramatic as the explosions was what happened 48 hours later in Western capitals. Germany's new Chancellor Friedrich Merz, backed by London, Paris and Washington, scrapped the informal range cap on donated missiles. Ukraine can now legally fire Storm Shadow and soon perhaps Taurus deep inside Russia. The idea had simmered for months. Spiderweb provided the political cover. Distance is no longer a sanctuary. Why does 41 wrecked bombers matter? Russia's strategic fleet is its insurance policy. Those aircraft launch Kh-101 cruise missiles designed to skirt NATO radars over the Arctic. Destroying 34% of that fleet forces Moscow into a $40 billion replacement bill and a multi-year production lag, with sanctioned factories short on avionics. Russia's coercive leverage over Europe just shrank dramatically. The timing collided with a Middle East drama. Reuters revealed that Saudi Defense Minister Prince Khalid bin Salman told Tehran to take Donald Trump's new nuclear offer seriously, or risk an Israeli strike. Riyadh is no altruist. It wants détente before oil markets face another Persian Gulf war. Spiderweb and the Saudi ultimatum both signal a new great power impatience with incremental diplomacy. A weakened Russian bomber force can't project nuclear intimidation on Iran's behalf, so Riyadh senses leverage. Sign a deal now, it argues, or face an Israel emboldened by Russia's distraction, and a US president hungry for a foreign policy win in an election year. For investors, that linkage means any Ukraine flare-up reverberates through Gulf risk premiums. In Asia, a Chinese Coast Guard cutter blasted a Philippine research vessel with a water cannon near Subi Reef. Manila's foreign ministry shot back. China has no right to interfere with our lawful activities. Spiderweb went viral 2 days later, and Filipino defense planners gave it a nickname, Spider Sparta. Within hours, they announced a $300 million drone swarm fund. Autonomous eyes in the sky could soon blanket the world's busiest shipping lanes. Equities reacted first. Northrop Grumman and Rheinmetall jumped on Wednesday. Rheinmetall owns small drone maker EMT. Analysts now model a 5 times backlog expansion. In the US, AeroVironment's once margin-drag software suite suddenly looks like the real franchise. Expect budgets to pivot from exquisite few platforms to good enough many. Cybersecurity is next. Every military analyst expects a Russian payback campaign. That spells windfalls for CrowdStrike and regional integrators. Meanwhile, Ukrainian sovereign bonds rallied. Spiderweb proved Kyiv can impose costs without bankrupting itself. Russian OFZ spreads widened 70 basis points in thin swap markets. Tiny volume, but a signal that Fortress Russia leaks. Oil refused to follow the old playbook. Prices fell below $65, even as Russia looked unstable. Why? OPEC Plus confirmed a July production hike of 411,000 barrels per day and hinted it might go bigger, betting cheap crude will undercut US shale, while Spiderweb starves Moscow of petrodollars. For portfolio managers, geopolitical risk now means supply gluts as often as shortages. The European Central Bank reportedly wargamed a 15% cut in Russian energy flows and might pause quantitative tightening sooner than the Fed. Emerging market central banks from Kazakhstan to Tajikistan brace for remittance shocks as Russian job losses ripple outward.